Hello everyone and welcome to the program. This is Sunday Politics on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimbaloye in Lagos. The past week was rather eventful, and tonight, one matter that comes to our very table for discussion is the obvious one. Is the Niger Delta Development Commission matter, an agency meant to help salvage the issues of development in the Niger Delta region, which has become popular recently over issues of corruption allegations where billions are allegedly spent recklessly. So last week, a Senate ad hoc committee was investigating the activities at the NDDC. The Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, which is in charge, Senator Godswill Akpabio of the NDDC, as well as other top officials of the interim management of the NDDC, were present at that investigative hearing. A former acting managing director of the NDDC, Dr. Joy Nunez, was also scheduled to appear there. And after the session, she spoke to journalists. The press briefing is a few minutes, though, but I will allow you to watch the full length of the video.
One of the issues raised yesterday against me was that I awarded a contract to myself without them knowing about it. I'm sure that's what they told you people yesterday.
Yes.
Apparently, Dr. Cairo never sits in the office, so he doesn't know the workings and the bureaucracy of payments in the office. One, I am just a viewer of the platform that makes payment, that made payments in NDDC. There are different steps to take before payments are made. One, that Lassa fever issue, obviously they didn't carry him along. Nobody makes any payment in NDDC without Godswill Akpabio's approval. When we first came to NDDC, on the day of going for the inauguration, he told me in the car that, Madam MD, if you don't do what I say, the same pen with which I used to sign your letter, it will be the same pen that I will use to remove you. He said the first thing I should do when I get to Port Harcourt is to change the dollars in the NDDC account. I was scared to do that. He claims that I have poverty mentality, that I am afraid of money. All of you knew they accused me that I refused to spend money. It is strange that today it's now about money. After that, he came to Port Harcourt 2 days after the inauguration. He said the first thing I should do is to make sure I change the dollars. I should remove Mr. Kaltungo from being legal and send him on compulsory retirement, that we cannot have a northerner be the head of the legal team, of the legal unit. I said, I can't do that. I do not have the powers as just an IMC to act as a board. It is a criminal offense, and it's against the public service rules for me to do that. He said I should remove all the other directors that refused to take his instruction during the time of Mrs. Agwagaga. That was the predecessor before I came. So he came also with a draft, which I've submitted, with a draft letter that I should write and put it on my letterhead, implicating Senator Mobushi for collecting contracts in NDDC. I told him that I will not, I'm a lawyer, and that whoever alleges must prove. The fact that Senator Mobushi is giving us trouble as IMC, you remember also that they did not recognize the IMC. I said, I will not do that letter. He said I was ungrateful, and I refused to do the letter. Dr. Cairo now said that he will do the letter. If Akpabio tells him to kill, he will kill before he asks, why did he kill? I said, for me, I will not do the letter. At that place, there was Mr. Etiebet, who was the only staff of the NDDC that was present at that meeting. When he finished, he now asked Dr. Cairo to go and send for the letter-headed paper from the office. They now sent for the letter-headed paper. Dr. Cairo now did the letter, which I've also submitted to the committee, alleging that Senator Nwabushi had contracts. Then he said, I must sign the cover letter. I said, if I sign any document from me seen by Mr. President, he will believe every line of it. So I will only write that the EDP, who should know about projects, has gone. The next thing that he told me, he said, I must make sure that all these people leave and that the procurement, because apparently Akpabio, before I came, when himself and Festus Keyamo were ministers, their first meeting at the commission, he was awarded 30 contracts for Distilton and Water Hyacinth. Mr. Linus, who was the director finance, refused to sign because it did not follow due process. He also said that I should implicate the chairman of the House Committee, because the chairman of the House Committee had gone to Ondo State for a meeting to plan against him. I said, I don't even know that one. I've never even seen him. For Senator Nwabushi, he was my classmate at law school, and we were called to bar the same day. However, I've not seen him since our call to bar, and didn't really remember him, which was like over 30 years ago. When we finished that, I went back. He began to say I should bring all the things, I should start paying. I said I cannot pay. Water Hyacinth and Distilton, they said that the budget for Water Hyacinth and Distilton was, I think, for about 3 to 5 billion. I'm not sure exactly how much. But that the NDDC, before I came, had overstretched itself to about 50 billion for Water Hyacinth and Distilton. And so the National Assembly had written us, they have it also, they had written us that we should not pay for anything like that. He said, and guess what? Akpabio never signs any documents. He will always refuse to sign, but he will tell you to go and commit the fraud. For instance, he told me to go and raise a memo and give an emergency contract for flood victims. You people remember that we went round for flood. We went to Channels, AIT, and NTA. I said, all the documents, yeah, I have to take the issues one after the other because I didn't have the opportunity. Okay. So let me summarize. Now, I've also alleged, as most of you have heard, that he wanted me to take an oath. He has denied that, but I want to say today, he told me up to 3 times until we had a reconciliation meeting at the villa in the house of Mr. Sadiki Abba, who is the SA to the president on domestics. In that meeting was Alhaji Mekano. He said the only condition was if I take the oath. I refused to take the oath, and I did not take that oath. And I will never take the oath from him. So he said he was going to remove me. He started a campaign of calumny against me. He said I did not answer him because the facts will speak for itself. Now, to end this matter about the procurement process, I refused to go with him to deceive Mr. President at the FEC meeting because the Procurement Act says if I contravene any section of the Procurement Act, is 5 years imprisonment without an option of fine. So if I go and say they should pay for the process, if you see, they say it's for 2020 budget. Akpabio went to get the approval from FEC. The 2020 budget has not even been discussed by the National Assembly till today. The 2020 budget has not been passed. However, he lied to FEC, which is the greatest embarrassment in this country, for a budget that has not been passed, for an approval to be given for that procurement. I refused to go because he wanted me to send the money for the procurement to the ministry to implement the forensic audit. I refused. I am challenging him to deny any of these allegations because I have to round up for you people. But all the facts and all that I've said are all written in my document. I challenge him to say he did not give me any oath. I challenge him on the certificates of no objection that he has. And I'm proud, and I want to encourage all Nigerians that we must save this country. It's our own. He says I did not bring money. I'm talking to ministers against his presidential ambition. He gave me list of people to employ. I said I will not employ them because our zone and the youth in our zone have not gotten jobs. I will not do it. So he should come. He's lucky that God did not plan for me to be there today.
At the tail end of that interview, things got rowdy and perhaps tempers flared. Watch what happened just about when Dr. Nunez was going to round up some what she was saying.
The person that authorized it.
Don't say it.
I will say it.
Don't say it again. Don't say
Afterwards, when we think Dr. Nunez was done, she did not stop at some of the allegations against the Niger Delta minister. She dropped the last one. Take a listen to her.
Just to remove me. A 7 minister can go and bomb the pipelines in the Niger Delta. Somebody that has been a governor, he has been a senator and a minister. He went to bomb the pipeline. Where you go?
Dr. Joy Nunez there. She was the managing director of NDDC recently, a few months ago, before she was removed from office. The agenda of the Senate at that ad hoc panel investigating the alleged mismanagement it was to unearth the spending of about 40 billion naira by the Interim Management Committee, IMC, of the NDDC. At a hearing, Senator Akpabio, the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, said he did not know the expenditure of the NDDC under Dr. Nunez because she refused to give him briefings. And so we had invited here on Channels Television the Minister of Niger Delta, Senator Godswill Akpabio, to speak to some of the issues and the allegations raised against him and what you have watched tonight on the program. But at the last minute, Senator Akpabio reached out to us to say he's indisposed. But we do hope that if he's able and up to it, he might want to speak to us at least on some of the weighty allegations raised against him. But we still want to get to the bottom of this matter and some of the issues raised. But tonight, there are equally very crucial issues on some of the allegations against the interim management of the NDDC. And tonight, we shall be dissecting the issues and have the director of projects at the NDDC, Dr. Cairo Ojugbo, and also someone who has been advocating on the issues of the NDDC, Mr. Kolawole Johnson, who is the head of research at the Act for Positive Transformation Initiatives. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining us tonight on the program. What a time in the history of this country. Perhaps I should allow you, Dr. Ojugbo, to get started because your name was mentioned a couple of times in that interview. Let me allow you to respond first and foremost to the allegations that were raised there. Two of them, the first one being that, that you never sit in the office. What does that mean?
Segun, let me thank you for availing me this opportunity to be on this program. I was called only 40, you called me only 40 minutes ago to be on this program. And I am quite, if you are going to interrupt me, I better end this interview. Because you have spent 20 minutes talking to Joy Nunez, using me to sell her speech. If you're going to interrupt me, I will stop. But if you want me to speak, do not interrupt me. And let us get it right, and let me speak. First of all, I want to explain to Nigerians and the entire world that all this hulu about NDDC, money, no money, is all about one individual, the Deputy Senate President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Nigerians will recall what happened when talks invaded the hallowed chambers of the Senate and removed the maze. A senator escorted them into that chamber. And it's only in Nigeria that that senator will be rewarded for that affront, for that rape of the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And if you look at all what is happening, just because that particular individual was denied the right to nominate, appoint the MD of NDDC. So he must fight. If NDDC had a mace today, he would have carried it. And what is this? What does he want to achieve? Cause enough problem in the NDDC so that Mr. President and the society will say, oh, all this problem in the NDDC is too much. Sack the Interim Management Committee. You can imagine, I was invited here. If you want to invite me, if the Senate, if Omar Gege is very sure of what he's saying, when you want to bring somebody to speak on his side, you bring responsible citizens. Bring people who actually are versed in their affairs and in what is going on in the country. Why would you bring me here just to disgrace me? 15 minutes, you are playing lies. How would, for heaven's sake, how would you know, before you play such a video, you would have done your investigative journalism to know what this woman is saying. Is it true? How can you say I don't say in the office? When every day I leave my office at 10 a.m. after I've done my office job, I go on inspection of projects that all of us agree in management meeting. How can you in this time of this nation, in this time we are talking about, the difficulties in the Niger Delta, you will use 20 minutes of my time to discuss issues that are very irrelevant? How can you talk about somebody who, of course, we all know, the minister was on Arise Television yesterday. He explained the issue that led to the removal of this woman in office. If this woman says, look, that the minister is lying, let her come and then the issues that the minister raised. For instance, her youth corps certificates. I don't want to discuss anybody. I don't want to join issues with her. I don't want to join issues with anybody. But what I want to tell my conscience today is that the only problem in the Niger Delta today, Niger Delta Development Authority today, is the issue of the Deputy Senate President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If he agrees to, because some people fight and are suicide fighters, they fight to death. Fight over what? If you want to become the governor of Delta State, for heaven's sake, nobody is stopping you. Go ahead and become the governor. But you must need the NDDC to become. It's an issue that nobody in this country is going to allow. You are the Deputy Senate President. You have oversight function over the Senate. You have oversight function over the NDDC. Then you are the one who will bring the MD. When it got obvious that if you bring the MD, you cannot properly do your oversight function, the system said no. And that was why the chairman you nominated, Okumawa, was dropped. It was also discovered that the chairman is not the time, it's not the tone. It's not the tone of Delta to produce the chairman. They produce the MD of the NDDC. So the system put all these things together and said no. Because of that, NDDC will not have peace. Look at the MD. It's a laughable matter. When we got NDDC, she was the one who brought her the Peter Nwaboshi files and gave it to us. The files were in her office. She rubber banded it and handed it over to me. Today, she now claims that she was forced to implicate Peter Nwaboshi. The facts are there. The people who worked with her are there. And there's no point to lie over this matter because investigation will surely reveal them. I do know that at a point, before she was relieved of her position, one would day in whatever Point Blank News published an article that myself, the minister, and one Udwan that we want to kill her. So the security agencies and people got very worried. So a meeting was called. And at that meeting, the issue of that tweet was discussed. If that is the meeting where she was asked to take an oath, is unfortunate. But nobody, according to Joy, please, you would have also have played Caroline Dabo's video of yesterday, where she explained that she was not asked to take oath. I was never asked to take oath. I don't need to take oath for anything because I'm a soldier of truth. Because nobody can intimidate me to lie. And all these things you are saying, the effect is that Omar Agege wants to use the chambers of the National Assembly to intimidate the IMC. So the IMC will be removed from office. They want to write and indict the IMC. You can no longer hold office for 10 years. We have removed you. That is all what it's all about. But God is on his throne. And then I can assure you, after the section with the Senate, things were very obvious. The money they are talking about spending, contracts were paid for. These are contracts that we didn't award. Recurrent payments were made. Nobody has said that Dr. Cairo Ojukwu or MD or anybody embezzled money. The question they're asking is, why were these payments made? These payments were made from the regulatory patterns we met on ground. And apart from that, when my MD was asked, why was this payment made? He said it is to protect the people of the Niger Delta. As we speak, 11 persons are incarcerated. The commission is looking for money to go and bail them from kidnappers. And the system over the years, the circumstances that led to the birth of the NDDC, because there was crisis, and a lot of youths had become militant and they had rebelled. So the NDDC has been the means of trying to calm the society, calm the rebels, calm them in a lot of ways. So when you say 1.6 billion was used, the 1.6 million was not used to bribe anybody. It was not paid into Dr. Cairo's account. It is not paid into the minister's account. It was paid across board for people to go back to their constituencies to work. And when you see this work, nobody who works in the NDDC, no staff of the NDDC, can go home if you are not well equipped. Well equipped means you have to go there, you meet the boys who are on the ground, you talk to them, you liaise with them, you parley them, tell them what the NDDC is about, sell the government programs to them, so that they can allow the business of the Niger Delta and the oil businesses to thrive. It is on record that since the IMC came on board, there has never been any riot. There has never been any disruption of oil activities. So when somebody comes, you go and fake a cassette and fake a recording, and fake a cassette and fake a recording. The minister said they should go and bomb an oil installation. Of course, it is the security agencies are looking at it. You cut tapes, and you make an announcement. We must be careful in this country. We must. Things cannot continue like this. Nigeria cannot continue like this. Because the IMC has stopped looting and leakages. You say, okay, IMC has paid a humongous amount of money. Who did they pay it to? We have a commitment of 3 trillion debt against the IMC, against the NDDC. And out of it, confirmed debt of 1.6 billion. And of it, because we have to continue, the commission must continue. People who genuinely did their job and that the commission will need were paid. Otherwise, the activities of the commission will fail. By convention, what we met on ground, if we had paid, according to what we met on ground, we would have paid over 150 billion. But we said no, we wouldn't do that. We will scrutinize this thing while the forensic audit is coming on. Why are they fighting us? Basically because we have embraced the forensic audit. And exactly, Joy Nunez said it. She did not accuse the minister of stealing money. She said the minister wanted her to use the money from the commission to pay for forensic audit, which is the truth. And that is what is going on. It's the NDDC that will pay for forensic audit. And the NDDC has paid the first tranche of payment to the forensic auditors. And the forensic audit is going on. And like as I always said, the solution to the problem of the NDDC is forensic audit. The second solution, forensic audit. The third solution, forensic audit. Once that is done, a lot of these chairmen of the National Assembly, they will run away. Contractors that have not done their job that are now fighting us, they will run away. The people who normally sit down in their cozy offices in Abuja and have shares from the contracts in the Niger Delta, they will no longer have it. And they will run away. So these are the people who are fighting us.
So, Dr.
If you
Ojugbo,
bring people who do not, they will just read paper, they give them, Senator Magige will scribble things for them. This is the book from Attorney General Office. This is the book from Central Bank. Go and say this, go and say this. What is their background? What have they done in their lives?
Dr. Ojugbo,
we cannot continue like this.
May I come in now?
Shegun, look. No, let me finish, Shegun. Look, this thing must, you know that you have used this opportunity to sell Joy Nunez ideas, which is very, very wrong. She was saying that that the Lassa fever payment, let me discuss that very seriously. I am the acting director project of the NDDC. A payment, total payment of 3.6 for Lassa fever and medical equipment. I'm sitting down in my office. It's supposed to pass through my table. I didn't see it. She confessed there that I was not carried along. How do you go and pay such money without carrying me along? Who approved it? The minister didn't know about it. And she's saying that there's no payment in the NDDC without the minister's approval. Yet, she paid 2.9 billion for Lassa fever without the approval of the minister. So what are we talking about? Who is lying? So she said it herself that I was not carried along.
Dr. Ojugbo, if you...
Shegun, what is she talking about? No, Shegun, look. I'm discussing that Lassa fever again. Let me take it again. She said that when the Lassa fever was paid, that I was not carried along. But in the Senate, I gave them the memo that gave rise to the payment of that Lassa fever that everybody is shouting about in this country. And in that memo, the director of budget and the director of planning advised that that payment should not be made because it did not pass through due process. Joy Nunez went ahead and paid it. Minister did not approve it. So where have we gone wrong?
So,
finally,
Dr. Ojugbo, okay.
She came to me. Let me finish. You gave her time. Look how much time. You gave her time. Let me finish, please. Now, she said that she came to me in office. She came to me and said, look, Dr. Cairo, you know, this is NDDC. We have to work together. This minister, we have to team up so that we can remove his influence in this place. I said, madam, minister has not given me any directive that is contrary to my view. However, you cannot cause me to rebel. I'm not a rebel. At my age, I'm 60. I mean, you are my younger sister. She said, hey, you're not lawyer. I said, no. Lawyer to you? I cannot be lawyer to you. What is your pedigree that I will be lawyer to you? You are supposed to be lawyer to me. I'm here as an acting executive director of project in submission to the will of my country and my conscience and my patriotism. Not because of you, MD. After all, I don't want to sound immodest. You are my MD, and I respect you for that. And I give you that honor. At my age, you are my younger sister. You want me to be loyal to you? I said, no. I cannot be loyal to anybody. I'm only loyal to the Federal Republic of Nigeria and to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And after that, to my minister. She said, I said, that I can kill anybody before. How can I kill anybody for what? My loyalty is my loyalty. It's my integrity. It's part of my building. It is part of my character to be honest and to be faithful to mankind. And I will not in any way. You cannot cause me to rebel. You cannot cause me to say, okay, because I'm working here, I want to chop money, then I will cooperate with you. No, I'm not like that. The issue of money never arose. All the payments she did to Atafront and everybody, we didn't know. She did it alone when she was MD. I'm going to find out tomorrow. My signature is not on any of those papers. And I thank God that you gave me this opportunity. If you thought that you are giving me this opportunity to come and bring John Nune to disgrace or bring us down, it has failed. Because Nigerians will know that we are speaking the truth. Right. The records are there.
Dr. Ojubo.
At Atafront, the payment she made when she was there, we didn't know about it.
Dr. Ojubo, we need to go on a break.
3.4 billion. We didn't know about it.
Dr. Ojubo, we need to go on a break. Deliberately, we have given you enough time to respond to those. Here at Channels Television, we are for the truth, and that's why we bring every side of the divide into this conversation. But we take a break. When we come back, further look into the NDDC matter as we look forward to a proper clearing of the NDDC's house, which is now filled with a lot of allegations of scandals. Join us for more after now, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Don't forget to let us know what your views are on the issues we are discussing tonight on the program. Tweet to us on these handles or write to us at politicstoday@channelstv.com. That is the information for you to get to us. So let's get back to the conversation on the NDDC matter. Dr. Cairo Ojubo has been speaking to us, is the Executive Director Project at the NDDC, at the IMC of the NDDC. And Mr. Kolawole Johnson was also speaking to us, a rights activist. But of course, obviously, the reason why I did not interrupt Dr. Ojubo is to allow him to be able to explain some of the issues raised, because I know it's an emotional one for him, and he's a bit on the anger side earlier on. But let's get back to the conversation, because what we are planning to do is to get to the root of some of this matter and allow Mr. Kolawole Johnson to get into the conversation. Thank you so much, Mr. Johnson. You and your colleagues at your organization have raised very deep issues about the IMC, because the IMC says is doing a forensic audit. Of course, we know that the president was the one who ordered the forensic audit. But you raised the issue of recklessness and misappropriation and contract scam at the NDDC. If you could be specific about some of the issues you have raised, one of it, which will be what?
Of course, I'll start from that contract scam that you just mentioned now. I remember on this same program, 26th of April, 2020, Doctor was also on this program with a Ken, and they were talking about contract scams. And I remember that Doctor here denied that no contract related to COVID-19 had been awarded.
Which is true.
At that time.
Which is very correct.
He also said that they've not awarded any contract at all.
Which is true.
Then he said they were waiting for the president's approval before they could award.
Sure.
And Ken asked him, or you, that does he know Osmoserve? And he said, no, he doesn't know any company bearing that name. But right in my living room where I was watching that program, I had documents with me showing that, number one, contract had been awarded. I'll give specific names of those companies, contract awarded, money paid. 6th of April, Osmoserve was given a contract of 4.861 billion naira. Then 15th, 16th of April, payment schedule was raised and approved. 729 million naira was raised for the same company. And the contract was for supply of medical equipment. Oh. And on the 28th of April, the same company was paid 638 million naira after tax of 12.5% and VAT had been removed from the initial sum. I was looking at that document. Secondly, I knew that Julius Dinga had been awarded contract for consultancy. Oh, that is the document on your screen, the TSA schedule of payment done. And these payments were done long before Dr. Cairo came to this program to deny.
It's not true.
It is true, sir. Please.
You check it.
Please, it is true. I have said this on oath. I have put this in different places.
And my MD corrected you, showed you the correct
date. He did not. He never did.
He did.
So if he stood up, I will open his eyes more. I have document on him.
He showed you the correct dates.
Let me go on, Shim. Now, the next one is Julius Odinga that was awarded contract for consultancy on awareness program on COVID-19 for 749 million naira. And 112 million naira was processed for his payment, and it was paid 98 million naira on the same 28th or 22nd of April. He was paid the same amount, 98 million naira. And this company is an engineering company, and you gave him a consultancy job for media, number one. Number two, what the hell do you need 749 million naira consultancy for? Not the awareness itself. Number three, where was the awareness done? The next company that was awarded contract and paid before Doctor came here, he's my big brother, and I will try to be as respectful as I can, was a AHR Global, was given another contract to supply social relief packs for about 1.2 billion naira or so. And the last company, the fourth company, was Tables, Buildings, and Logistics that was given contract for 268 million naira to train health workers. And I wonder if such a company was given contract to train health workers when it was not even a health-related company. Where do we go from here? And that company was paid on the 22nd of April. 35 million plus naira enter into its account after tax, representing 15% mobilization payment. I go back to Osmoserve. Osmoserve that got the first money of 729 million naira processed and 638 million after tax into its account on the 28th day of April 2020, got additional payment on the 4th of May. He got 1.646 billion naira on the 4th of May. Now, he got additional money of 2-point-something billion naira, 6 billion or so, on the 21st of May, totaling 4.55 billion. Remember, I said the contract was 4.86 billion naira. And if you look at this payment that got into Osmoserve account after tax deduction, it amounts to about 4.553 billion. If the right taxes and VAT are removed, there was no way the company will get 4.553 billion. The VAT is 7.5. The tax is 7.5%, while the VAT is 5%. Put it together, the Federal Republic of Nigeria was shortchanged. Procurement Act was flouted. Number three, it was a contract scam. We should ask, where was that contract done? Now, the training they said they give to health workers, can we ask the state government if NEDC conducted any training all through those states? Now, there are more.
Wow.
When we raised this issue, I was expecting explanation, but they launched a media attack against us. Now, the main reason why we were able to come out, by the following day, he was there on the 26th of April, by the following day, Monday 27th, we issued a press release showing that we had the document before he was talking at all. We've been mining documents since last year. We were the one that raised the alarm on the desilting they were paying in NDDC last year. We raised the alarm. Unfortunately, we learned later that some money were paid again. Now, I go back to now. Many of those contracts that they award, they keep saying they've not awarded contract. And I wonder, many of them, when they pay these people, the money disappear in this contractor's account under 24 hours or in few days. Take, for example, I will list a company. They said they spent 1.12 billion on media. It's a lie. I will list what they have spent on media to just one company alone. A company called ClearPoint Communication got a contract on the 24th day of March, was paid 3 tranches of money. First, for reputation management for NDDC. Second, was for conducting a meeting, a seminar or something for NDDC in Dorchester, London. The third was for another program in the US during lockdown. This company was paid 100 million naira on the 24th day of March. I'm here to tell you that that money went into private purses, I think I saw like 8 million going into 2 companies. Aside from that, the rest went into private purses, and staffs of NDDC also benefited from that payment. Now, 24th day of April, that same company was paid 536 million naira. I'm being specific with dates. Please go and check. Was paid 536 million naira under a description called Immediate Campaign to Save Lives in Niger Delta. And this money, again, substantially, some went into BDC account, operators account. I'm saying things openly here. We have document. Some went into BDC account, and some went into private individual. In fact, the larger part of that money went into private individual account.
All right. So
again, the same company was paid 39 million naira on the 19th of May.
Mr. Johnson, yeah, because we
on so-called attack.
All right. So let me allow, because...
no, please wait. Please wait. No, please
just hold on. We have yet... Just hold on, please. Gentlemen, can you just hold on for a moment? I will allow... We just have about 2 minutes to the end of this segment. So because we have yet another issue to tackle, I'll allow Dr. Ojugbo to react to some of the things that you have said since Dr. Ojugbo is here and is in charge of project. So, Dr. Ojugbo, if you will, could you react to some of the issues that I raised?
Shehu, this is the funniest thing. I don't know. There is something wrong with this country. Somebody wakes up one day.
Shehu, I will leave document chat with you.
He's not saying he's a social activist.
Shehu, I will leave document chat with you.
Quote payment, quote this.
Shehu, I will leave document chat with you.
The NDDC
you have shown some documents now on the screen. Those are TSS.
Mr. Johnson, right there. Please allow Dr. Ojugbo to react to what you've said.
Thank you. Exactly. Shehu, let me tell you, I'll just pick the important ones. In training medical doctors and nurses, the training program as we speak is going on now in the Niger Delta, in all the 9 states of the Niger Delta. It's been handled by one Dr. Foma. Dr. Foma is a Nigerian, trained in the United States. And they brought in people to train, to safeguard the lives of the medical doctors and nurses who are attending to the COVID patients and the health of our people. And as we speak, inside this COVID lockdown, these things are going on. The palliative, as we speak, the rice and the medical equipment, they are still being distributed all through the Niger Delta, the 9 states. The PCR machines that were bought to 2 senatorial districts, they are being calibrated now between the NDDC and the NCDC. The operation is ongoing now. The medical equipment that were bought with this money to help the states of the Niger Delta, that have been distributed and handed over to the state governments. Every state, the 4 major states Rivers, Akwa Ibom, Delta, and we're giving 100 million cash. And the other smaller states, according to production, we're giving 75 million naira. And these are things that
you have been unfair to me.
These are the things that are approved, not by the board alone, but by the government. The 9 governments, the 9 governors of the Niger Delta region met, and we all agreed on how to pursue the program.
All right, Dr. Ojugbo, because of our time, we have yet another issue to discuss.
1 minute.
No, Dr. Ojugbo, I've given you 2 minutes already.
These were handed over to the state governors. These things were handed over to the state governors.
Dr. Ojugbo,
as I speak, these things were handed over to the state governors, not to me, not to my family, not to the MD.
Dr. Ojugbo, we need to close this because we have yet another issue to tackle on the program. Mr. Johnson, apologies.
Thank you.
I know that when you raise these allegations, sometimes also we need answers, and that's why I wanted him to give answers to it. But let me get your final word because we need to move quickly. Please, if you can give your final word in about 50 seconds, please.
50 seconds. Nigerian students under the scholarship of NDDC are dying abroad. Now, NDDC, this present IMC are busy paying themselves. Now, let me give you specifically. On the 17th of April, around 1624 GMT, Dr. Cairo paid himself money due to students, postgraduate scholarship for students, into his account number 10024284009. Now, the MD also paid himself again into his UBA account number 10022900165. This money is due to students abroad, and they are paying themselves. I can read to you other staffs who got payment. I can read to you staffs who got money from contractors. One by one, the dates they got them. I have them. See, Sheon, I am ready. I pray that the House will have the guts to give us live hearing. Nigerians will hear a lot. I want to open all the can of worms. Now I am ready. Thank you.
Dr. Ojugbo, 30 seconds.
Thank you very much. If I want to steal money from government, I will not write my name and my account number. The money he's talking about is for a trip to see our grad students who are graduating in September.
Sheon, let us challenge the CBN to bring out the details of that payment. Let us challenge the Accountant General Office to bring out the details of that payment. I challenge them to bring it out.
Let me finish. We have over 1,000 students overseas. So when they are graduating, and from time to time, the executive, you have to visit them, make sure that students who are there discuss with the universities, and to know that the money the NDDC is paying is not being wasted. And that is what these trips are meant for. I'm a medical doctor. I graduated 35 years ago. What am I doing postgraduate studies for? So please, be calm. Because all this, it doesn't help you. Calm down. If you want record, come. You sit down, we will show you. We will explain to you. And that's what we told them in the Senate. We have nothing to hide.
Doctor, I raised this allegation. Why didn't you show records? I wish you sit down.
Where am I showing you records?
I raised the allegation. You know our office here in Abuja. Established
I should come to your office?
No, it's just to send for us that
have you written to me?
Officially.
If you have a problem, write to me. Write to the NDDC. This is what we have noticed. Then we will reply you, we'll invite you. Look, I'm a civilized man. I'm a soldier of truth. I'm a promise keeper. I'm a man that I respect people. I respect, at your age as my younger brother, I respect you. I will not in any way do anything to disrespect you. So if you ask for explanation, I will give it to you.
All right.
And that is why today, the politician I am, I'm a soldier of truth. People might not like it because I tell you the truth. I don't look at your face. I tell you what is going on. And and that once I tell you, I go to bed.
We have to leave it at that. We have to leave it at that. Dr. Cairo Ojugbo.
Thank you very much.
The Executive Director of Project at the Interim Management Committee of the NDDC. Thank you so much indeed for coming tonight. And Mr. Kolawole Johnson, thank you so much indeed for joining us of the...
you cheated me. You didn't give me time. You gave Doctor all the time. Okay?
Thank you.
I will never cheat you. Thank you so much, gentlemen. But before we go, I'd like you to understand that journalism is about the truth. No matter what and no matter how, we try as much as possible on Channel Television to get to the bottom of the truth. And that's where we stand on this program. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Bye-bye.